Many people out there keep saying Forex is a scam. Before you conclude on saying Forex is a scam, I want to give you an assignment and a task that you need to perform with yourself. Afterward, you can decide whether Forex is a scam, whether you can get profitable from it, or you will not be able to make money trading the financial market. What is this assignment that I'm about to give you? I want to give you a 3-week streak trading on your demo account. So even if you have a live account, for now, suspend trading on the demo, on the real live account, and focus on your demo account. How are we going to do this? I'll be making a series of videos explaining every concept of the smart money trading method. I will begin with the trend analysis. I will begin with the point of interest. This ranges with order block, fair value gap, smart money cube, and the breakers block. And I will explain everything in detail, how you can take advantage of all of this. Then thirdly, I'll be making a video explaining to you what liquidity is all about, how you can avoid liquidity, because the reason you keep losing money is because obviously most often you become victim of liquidity sweep. That is because you could not identify the zones of liquidity on your own. Another thing is you can open your chart. You find it difficult to understand what the structure of the market is all about. All of this I'll be answering in the series of video to come. So we're going to take it step by step. So in this video, then after that in another video, we'll be considering pullback, because once you have identified your structure, your point of interest, your liquidity zone, you are waiting for price to pull back to that zones that you have identified, and after price pull back to that zone, you are expected to make your trade entry. Then we'll be talking about entry confirmation, and then lastly we'll talk about risk management. I'll be taking you through all of this journey, and if it's your first time of coming across this channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when we upload our next video. In this video, I'll be showing you in detail how you can do your market analysis. This is a live trade. This is GBP USD, and this is 4-hour time frame. So what do we do? Let's see how we can identify the trend of the market. Now, I want you to know that let's begin with identifying this. And let me show you something briefly. Here you will realize that price is in an uptrend. This is higher low, right? This is higher high. This is higher low. This is higher high. This is another higher low, and this is another higher high. Once you have identified this, or you can do it this way: higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then we'll have this higher low, and then we'll have this higher high. Once you have identified this structural point, as in this particular scenario, you must pay attention. Now, one of the things you don't consider when you are determining the structure is that you don't consider the wick of the candle. Do you get? So for this candle, if you look at these candles that are formed here carefully, they are weak, but we pay attention to the body. So we want to confirm if the body of that candle actually closed above this previous high. So you can see that the body of this candle closed above this high. Okay, so we have established that fact. So always take note of that. Now, what is the next thing we want to do? In this scenario, I can say this is a perfect move of the market. Let's look at this. We are going to do a live analysis, but let me take you back to history a little. Look at what happened in this case. Here, we have what? We have a lower high. We have a lower low. We have a lower high. We have this lower low here. Now we have this lower high. Now we are looking for a new lower low. Now look at what happened. This point you are seeing here is not a lower low. Now you are wondering, why is this point not a lower low? This, for a lower low to be valid, it must close below the previous lower low, which means that it must break the bottom of this trade, take away the liquidity sitting there. But in this scenario, we have this lower high, we have this lower low, but this lower low never closed below this particular lower low. So here remains our lower high, right? This is our lower low, this is our lower high. So we need a new lower low. So now let's look at what happened. Look at this case. This is higher than this, right? But look at what happened now. The subsequent high here was higher than this. So now what has happened? It simply means that this particular lower high is no longer a valid lower high. So if we are to do a correct label now, here is our correct label: lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Do you see that? Now this is our new lower high. This is no longer a lower high because this high already take out this zone. So this is our new lower high. And then look at what happened now. We have a new lower low because this lower low now was able to take away all of this liquidity. And look at another liquidity sitting here. So you can see in the subsequent video, when we are dealing with liquidity, you need to pay attention. You realize that the reason you lose money is because you cannot identify areas of liquidity. If you can identify liquidity, 80 to 90% of your trade will be successful. The secret behind Forex is understanding liquidity. Look at this now. Here now we have so many equal high. This is one high, this is one high. So you see this push up take away this liquidity. However, let's continue with our trend of the market. So this is our lower high, this is our lower low, this is our lower high, right? We have our lower low. Then here we have a new lower high. Here we have a new lower low. So look at what happened. Price pushed to the upside and price closed above this point. So now the price has closed above this point here. Automatically we now have what? A break of structure. So this is a BOS. So structure has been compromised. So if we are to label now, the movement of price from this zone now has changed to an uptrend. Okay, while the movement of price in this zone all the way to this point was a downtrend. You can see the difference. Now let us proceed. So all of this zone now has become what? An uptrend. Our goal in this is to determine trend, not to consider point of interest. So you can see here, that is where we had this break of structure. So now we have what? We have a higher low, right? We have now, this is a higher low, we have this higher high, we have this higher low. Sorry, I have to drag it back a little. So what do we have now? We have now this new higher low, we have this higher high, we have this higher low, and then here we have this higher high. So you can see that. Now what happened afterwards? Look at what happened. Price pulled down again and break this structure. Because in an uptrend, the most important structural point of an uptrend is this higher low. And price is not permitted to take a higher low. But eventually, this higher low was taken. So this is becomes what? A break of structure. So now we have changed. Price has changed direction. So from here is a new movement. We now have a lower high. We now have a lower low. You can see a new lower high. Look at this lower low. So this is how you can follow this consecutively. Okay, we have this lower high because now we are in a downtrend. So we have what? We have this lower high, this lower low, we have this lower high, now we have this lower low. Okay, this lower low push gave us a new lower high, you can see. Then now we have this lower low. Okay, and then we have this lower high, and then we have this lower low, and afterward price push up and break this zone. So already from here now, this has been a downtrend. So based on what we are having, the movement of this price to this side has become an uptrend. So let's bring up our chart a little and see what happened. Obviously, look at what happened. We said what? We have this lower high, we have this lower low, we have this lower high, and then we have this lower low. Now what happens here? Price took away liquidity here, okay, and then push up to mitigate this other block. So the downtrend still continue, but what has happened now automatically is that here now becomes our new lower high, right? Here is no longer a lower low, here becomes our new lower low, here becomes our new lower high. Do you see the magic now? Now all of this zone did not close below this. So here, this is our lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then look at here now. This is the new lower low that we are having. This is not a lower high. Why? Because the price that came down here did not close below this point. If it has closed below this point before it pushed back, it would have been a lower high, but it is not a lower high. So this is exactly how you can do your analysis, how you can identify your structure. This is workable. This is practical. This is real. You can confirm this on any pair. You can do this analysis on any time frame. In this case, let's look at our 1 hour time frame. I don't intend this video to be long, so alright, this is crash 500 and this is a 1 hour time frame. So let's do a recent analysis and see what was happening. Now look at this. This is an uptrend and I will show you why. Here, let's begin from here. Higher low, higher high, right? Now higher low, right? Now look at this high. This high did not close above this point. This high is expected to close above here if it must be a new higher high, though this higher low was valid. But for the validity of this higher low to be confirmed, it simply means that this higher low will need to produce a higher high. Since it is unable to produce a higher high, automatically it is not a valid structural point. So now, then what is our structural point? Here again, we have our higher low, right? We have our higher high. Do you see that? Having done that same, look at what happened here. We have this candle that closed here. Okay, and if you look carefully, this candle closed body below this. However, this looks like a break of structure because it has closed here and then you want to see it as a break of structure. But however, it is important for you to know that they are manipulation zone. What happened here was a liquidity sweep because we have this bottom here and we have this bottom. Look, after taking the liquidity, price move up. So you now see that this become a higher low and then we are having a new higher high. This is perfect. This is simple. This is how to trade. This is how to do analysis. Now, if you understand everything about structure, you are done as a trader. You have made 80% progress. You can see that higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Higher high, right? So we now said what? We will now consider this. This now becomes our higher low. So, and because this has closed below this and this closed above this, here becomes what? This is our new markup. I'll use the red color now to differentiate this. So look at what we're now going to have. Higher low, higher high, higher low. Now, this is no longer a valid higher high because price has break the rule. So where is our new higher high? Higher low, here becomes our new what? Our new higher high because it closed above this. Then here becomes our new higher low, and then now we are having a new higher high. So this is how exactly you can do your structural analysis. Let me take you through again. Higher low, higher high, higher low, right? This was broken here by this candle body. So here becomes what? Higher high, higher low, because it break this. So we'll have this higher low here, and now have our new higher high. It is perfect. It is simple. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Higher low, higher high, higher low. No longer a higher high. Here is our higher high, right? Higher low. You can do it. Okay? You can do it. You can do it. All right. Okay, sorry, just a little correction. Remember, this was a higher low, right? And then this was a valid higher high, and then we'll have this higher low here. So what is the next? Okay, we have this higher high, right? But it eventually broke this zone, so that is why we now have this. So you can do this. Go back test this on your chart. If you have any question, go ahead to us in the comment section. So we are done with identifying the trend of the market. In the subsequent video, it is going to be how to identify our point of interest. When I say point of interest, what am I referring to? I'm referring to the point where you want to make trading decision. Look at this. This is good. It will be the last illustration, and let's see exactly how it goes. Okay, so let's have it this way. Let's just begin from this point. This is a lower high because this is a downtrend. This is a lower low. Look at this. It gives us a new low, lower high, right? Now this point couldn't give us a lower low below here. So this is not a lower low. And this could not give us a high above this one. So we still remain our lower low, lower high. So now look at where we have our new lower low. Look at it here. If you look at this carefully, you now realize that after all of this movement, we now have our what? We have our new lower low here, right? Then we'll have this new lower high. We'll have this new lower low, okay? And then we'll have this new lower high. We'll have this new lower low. So price is at this point. If price break through, it becomes a break of structure. If price did not break through, it becomes a continuation of a downtrend. So thank you for watching. If you are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when we upload our next video. Thank you, and see you in the subsequent video.